Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on a journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney
and Kelly.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sydney.
How are you?
I'm good.
We're deep in April now.
We are into April. That's hard to believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like feeling, I know I'm going to get coffee after we record this.
Okay.
I'm like feeling it. But I was thinking like how different people have different reactions to caffeine. Like I'm somebody, this is going to be later than usual for me, but I can still be okay. But if I have coffee pretty much like past 4 p.m. on, like I just don't sleep as well, or it takes me
Really?
it affects my sleep for sure.
I can have it at 10 o'clock and I'm at night, and I can just go, okay, I'm going to bed.
That is just,
It does not affect me.
so weird to me. Like, okay, and I think it depends on the strength for me, because like Diet Coke, I can have at dinner, like if we're out, and then it doesn't bother me. Sometimes hot chocolate will keep me up at night. Exactly. If I have hot chocolate, like and it's like too close to bedtime, I will stay awake. So weird.
No.
Yeah, it really affects me.
I can have it anytime.
And I think it has to do with like ADD brain stuff.
I have heard that.
That's what I've heard is like those with ADD, ADHD, like
calms you.
It calms you instead. And so you don't get the stimulating effect.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? I don't know. I usually just drink coffee in the morning anyway, but it doesn't bother me if I have it at night either.
Yeah.
But there was a study recently shown that it's good for your gut health. A couple of cups a day. There you go.
I feel like coffee and like caffeine is one of the things where like stuff comes out that's positive, stuff comes out that's
bad. I know. It's like to me, it's like, you know what?
Right. And
I
like,
don't drink it all day. I'm okay.
Yes. Oh, I remember the very first time I had like a venti at Starbucks. Probably was too young, and not too young. I think it was like freshman year of college, because I didn't really start coffee until like about college. And the first time I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm going to get a venti this time. And what's funny is the venti I think it must have been the sugar, because the venti doesn't have any more espresso than a grande.
Okay.
I will tell you people.
Okay.
The grande and the venti have the exact same amount of shots in it. But I like was shaking.
Oh, that's funny.
Pretty much. Like I was shaking.
Handle it, yeah.
So I like can't handle that stuff. And there was a time too, I think one of the first times where I really had like, I put the extra shot in a venti, and like, man,
wow.
I felt it. And I think that was like early on, because I was not, as exposed. Now it doesn't, that's
doesn't
okay.
do as much, but
I definitely had a reaction.
You definitely don't have ADD.
No, I do not.
You don't.
But I just thought it was interesting. Like everybody has their own reactions to caffeine.
Yeah, and some people just don't even drink it.
I know. Some people
them,
really don't, and I'm just like, good for you.
Good for you.
I couldn't.
I don't get a headache if I don't have it.
No, and that's the thing too. I know people that get withdrawal symptoms because they have so much caffeine.
But
no.
But I do
and so
enjoy
I
it.
purposely will go like a day a week without it,
because
I'm so paranoid.
Oh, how funny.
Of getting withdrawal from caffeine, even though I never drink enough in a day to like cause that.
You probably don't drink as much as I have. 2 full cups every morning.
I have half a cup before Charles
yours is always cold. You never finish it.
I never finish my coffee at home.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our long rant on coffee, but it's just interesting. Everybody's different. And to totally there is no segue this time.
There is no.
We're talking about April showers bring May flowers.
Yes.
So you did a little bit of research. It's originally from
UK.
The UK. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they used to have this. They always have cold and soggy weather.
April.
Or, usually is their thing. The month of April. And so flowers don't appear until May.
Yeah. And so that's just
it's just the way it is.
And and granted, I think England's a little further north, like latitude, whatever.
But they
that
get
is
the moisture
just,
that
get. The same thing kind of happens here too, luckily weather-wise.
It does,
but it sounds kind of.
No, we don't get much rain.
Right,
where we are, it depends on where you are.
That's true.
U.S. But.
And it does sound. It sounds so cliche, but it does have some truth in it. So that's why we kind of picked it. And basically, it's just like whatever we plant and water and cultivate now, Like, we'll bring good later, basically, is the idea.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then you go through unpleasant times, but there are some quote unquote flowers that happen.
Yeah.
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 So I thought we get into like, what? Why are you?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just thinking.
I thought we get into like what we think showers are. You know?
Okay.
And I think it's different for everybody, you know, because people have different levels of resilience, different things that bother them, things that don't, you know. So I think it is different for everybody. But I mean, I'm sure there's some universal. But for me, anything having to do with waiting or being patient or like, and that's the whole part of like, you plant and you wait. Like, that's the whole part of the phrase.
Yes.
You plant and you wait and you just shower. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think another thing, I want to know what your showers in life are. I was literally just thinking, showers, you think they can be good and bad. Because I don't like rainy weather, so I think bad.
That's what I would. That's why a second ago I was like,
right. But
sometimes
and so I
enjoy the showers.
Yeah, I think of all the negative things, but sometimes the showers are good for the plants.
Yeah. Oh, you know, and they're good for a lot of things. I mean, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It fills the aquifer. It fills the, you know, and that's a big thing where we are.
Oh yeah, aquifer levels.
But it can be good. There's sometimes when it's like, you know, I love this rain and this storm. I don't have to get out in it.
Yeah. Yes. And
but
you
it's
just get
the
to
prolonged showers that go,
Yeah,
we've had gray for how many days?
Yeah, it's time to move
I'm
on.
ready for this, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's this, both and.
Yeah, that is so funny. Literally preparing for this episode this whole time, I was just like, oh, showers, bad.
Yeah, but they're
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
Because they can be, and yeah, I really think it can be both. It can be showers of like things that, you know, you aren't happy with, but then also showers of things like being showered in love by your loved ones or being showered in grace.
See?
Or, you know?
Yeah, it is. And I know where we are here, there's usually in March, although it's coming later this year, there's the pollen season. And everything is yellow, and your car is yellow if it sits out for 5 minutes, and your patio's yuck. And we wish for rain to knock it all down and get it down faster out of the trees.
That's true.
You know, and so it's like, come on, rain, you know, and right now it's, you know, we've had so much dust and dryness that I just would long for rain
to set it all down.
Keep it into the, you know, because right now it just blows at you. The sky gets brown because it's so dry.
Yeah.
So there's different parts and different ways that I see showers, right? Yeah, April showers, we think, but and in the middle of showers, of life showers, sometimes we don't just go, oh boy, this is great. I can't wait for the flowers, you know, and that doesn't help you through the hard times.
Yeah,
but yeah. So it's such a mix.
It is
of showers.
Yeah.
Shower of love, shower of grace, shower of.
Well, what are like some
and
of
we call them bridal showers. We call them baby showers. You know, because you're showering.
That's true.
You know, but when I think of showers, and sometimes there's just lulls in life, and it may not be raining down awful things. It's just a lull in life where you're in between things. Your job's fine. You're moving along. It's okay. Your family's okay. But I'm just kind of, what am I waiting for? I don't know. And it's a lull. And it's a plateau or whatever you want to call it. And I mean, I've gone through these and it's like.
How long have they lasted for you?
I'm trying to think. Sometimes long, sometimes short. Usually not too long. Okay. But it'll be, you know, a couple weeks or something going.
Yeah.
Oh, this is life. All right. Because you get daily in a routine. You go, this is this, and this is it, and it's like
that's true.
You know, because it's just where you can't be on a high all the time.
No, and you don't want to be in a low all the time.
No, and so it's just kind of like plateaus, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just keep moving on. And then something comes along, a new relationship, a friendship, something, and you go, oh, okay, let me get involved in this. Let me do that. And
That's
so
good.
it's just kind of a thing.
So what are like some not good showers for you? Like,
well, that lull is one.
Well,
but okay, so not good showers. When I have plans and somebody rains on them,
quit it. Don't sing.
and then I have to change my plans.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, but I wanted to do that. And not major plans, but just plans.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it could turn out good.
And it can. Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a 9. Everything's okay. But that's a hard one for me to deal. I've gotten a lot better, but it used to be a hard one. Or
I don't know. I'm thinking like bigger rains. So like for me, I think about like when Alma was dying.
Oh.
And like for me at least, I don't know if it was, but it was it was sad for me. That was the first time I'd ever lost anybody close to me ever, which was like amazing because I think I was like 23 or 4, something old.
I was similar, yeah.
And and like that was very sad. Right. But at the same time, there was like this goodness to it of it brought like basically all of our family together, and we were still able to laugh somehow. And like, I don't know. And it's like, and then we went to the funeral like a couple days later. Yeah. And it was just like, oh my gosh, all of these people. And the things they said about Alma, it's just like, they saw like the good parts that I saw, Yeah. It was just like, oh yeah, I thought that she was very involved in church.
This way.
These people did love her for that. These people, know? And so just like kind of confirmed who she was like for you. Yeah. But then, there's still the sadness of like, I didn't make it through playing piano at her funeral. I know. Which was good. I'm glad I did it. But it was like, that's hard. And like, and so it's like you have these showers. I think in that case, that was like good and bad showers, kind of like having it at the same time. And then later you come out of it and it's like some of the flowers are, I hadn't talked to some of my cousins in a while, and now I tend to be a little more regular with it. It's just like
there is. You're right. And that is a big... Yeah, that is a big rain. I think of my own grandmother's loss. I think of Justin, my nephew, right, and his death, and it was tremendous. And I think of that time, and I remember going up there, and there's been blossoms from that too. Yeah. And it's kind of like the mud and lotus. It was so muddy, muddy. Yeah. And then there's oddly beauty that comes
out of it
in different ways. And so there's Julie and I have reconnected and gotten closer in a lot of ways. And so. That's not to go, oh, well, that's the benefit. No, but it's the...
Yeah. And do you think like some of I know you've had like jobs in the past that weren't your favorite, like what, San Marcos, you did not like living?
In San Angelo.
Or San Angelo. Yeah. San Angelo. You did.
That was, oh my goodness, it was barren out there. I would think I would have liked some rain, but it felt like rain. You're just stuck out there. It was not a place for single people. Yeah. And so that was a very difficult time.
But like, would you say any flowers or whatever?
Yeah, there was friendships that I got from that. Yeah. That were just beautiful. Yeah. And so there's in all of those, in all those rains. Yeah. If I look, there's a saying, I was in a meditation group and this came up. We were to meditate on this. May I be open to the way things are right now.
Oh, that's hard.
But it reminds me of this because if we close ourselves off when the rains come, we don't see, if you close ourselves off to the ugly, we'll close ourselves off to the beauty too.
Yeah.
Because they're intertwined. They cannot help but be intertwined.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you look at it and what you see.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And I don't want to be cliche about the rainbow that comes after the rain, because I've had a lot of rain that I didn't see the rainbow after. But
that does happen too, where it's just like it's sad and
it's just sad. and it's sad, and it's gonna be sad.
Yeah.
And losses, some of our losses will always be sad.
Yeah.
And that doesn't.
There's
that's
not
like
really
this.
a rainbow.
That is sad. Over here, there's still beauty within the relationships around that, but this is sad.
Yeah.
And this always will be.
Yeah. I like that's so good. Like that's just real.
It's just real.
I like that like visual of like the things that are around it and kind of formed around it, but
this is sad, and that's not going to change it.
Yeah.
That's not going to change that loss, that grief, that is going to be there as a parent loses a child.
Yes.
This is not. But around the perimeters, and sometimes sprouting through, you'll see a beauty
really
or a grace, whatever you want to call it.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I guess one of my other rains is going through like when hard times, like when Dad fell.
Yeah.
And my dad fell, and it was a very difficult time finding a place, losing his eyesight at the same time.
Yes.
All this, happening at once, and wondering how you care for somebody.
Yeah.
In that way.
And figuring that out.
And it's hard to see your parent that way, and that's rain.
Oh yeah.
And there was grace in the midst of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
a couple
figuring
flowers, and so
and like figuring out that new dynamic as like you do become kind of a caretaker.
You do. You are.
Yeah, you are at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's both, but I think again, it's so much about perspective, and sometimes when we've weathered a few of the rains, then it gets. I'm not going to say easier, but we can have assurance in the midst.
Yeah. I think too. I was just thinking of so you plant your seeds before. So like we talk a lot about planning our personal growth and doing things now. And then the hard times come and you have this assurance, if I planted these seeds, if I just kind of keep coming back to these while the rains are, and then then on the other side, then you kind of look back, it's like you see all these flowers that happened because you had done the work ahead,
Yes. And the really cool thing I think about that is, we're planting these seeds, and we're generous with them, I think. We're just planting these seeds, and we don't even know the flowers that are going to come up.
No.
We don't know if they're going to be tulips. We don't know if they're going to be daisies.
Yeah.
We don't know roses. We don't know. So, those are metaphors for whatever comes up.
Whatever.
But we don't really know what's going to spring up from them.
Yeah.
And we can't. But it's beautiful when they do, and you're like,
yeah. Because I think I
couldn't have planned that,
Because I think it's like when you're in the showers, that's like the most important time to just like lean into whatever personal practices you've been doing, whatever, like, whatever groundwork you've laid ahead of time, and just to keep doing it.
And you go back to, and that's why it's so important to lay this foundation of growth, because during some of my hardest times, when Lauren was going through a lot of difficulties, when my stuff with Dad and other stuff has come up, I've gone back. This is my greatest use of the piano. I don't play well, but I can open up a hymn book.
Oh yeah.
And I go to some of the hymns and the songs that were grounded, my faith was grounded in, and I can find assurance.
Yeah.
And that's one of my go-tos. Yeah. And so, and whatever yours may be, you find those. And that's your groundwork.
Yeah.
And then you build on top of that, and maybe have a new practice, a new thing, and that's what's so, I don't know, so
and then
important.
you can look back and you're like, I did make it through that. Like, look at all, it's like look at what I accomplished,
Yeah. Or, I made it through. And then you see the beauty and that kind of thing. And, the most ironic thing of this whole podcast.
Yeah.
I have never planted seeds. Not real ones. I buy the plants fully grown and then watch them die.
Truly,
because
same here.
I am not.
You're not a gardener. I'm not either.
I'm not. My grandmother had. She had the most lush garden. It was just gorgeous.
It's a very German thing to do.
Yes,
for sure.
and my older, I think Kurt does too, but I know Kent does stuff
Your
in
older
gardening,
brothers
and
do.
I have grown a few tomatoes here and there. I start and I lose it
that's
every
so
year.
True. Neither of us have planted any
and so
actual
it's like,
seeds.
but I get the gardening. I plant a lot of seeds within.
Inside, yes.
I really do. My spirituality and that I plant I work at that. But outside, I have tried, and every year y'all just laugh at me.
I know, but I can't do it either. So I shouldn't.
So that's the irony of all this.
That is so. Oh my God, that's so good. And to go off of that, what are our favorite flowers? Mine is always a tulip.
Yes, yours is tulip.
And I think, I don't know why, because I'm like, it's not very sturdy. It literally blooms once a year, and you have to be so careful when you plant the bulbs. It's like, high. I am not high maintenance, I will say.
Yeah.
That's a high maintenance
flower. It is.
But
they're
just
so vibrant. I think
the colors.
I think that's when I think about tulips. The colors, each one is vibrant, and it's just that color.
Yeah. And it's nothing, it's just
beautiful.
Pure.
Yeah. And
tulips. What?
Mine is a sunflower.
Of course.
Because they just go toward the sun.
I know. And you love it.
I just do.
Yeah.
I do. And I just think, I don't know why,
Yeah.
To me, you can find them anywhere. They're easy to grow.
They are pretty easy to grow.
They kind of go anywhere.
Just, like what they like.
Yeah. And then when you get the seeds, you spit them out. No. Those are the real sunflowers.
That's funny.
But,
All right. You have one little...
I have a little thing that I found. There was lyrics. There's actually a song about April showers written in 1921.
Wow.
Life is not a highway strewn with flowers. Still, it holds a goodly share of bliss. When the sun gives way to April showers, here is the point you should never miss. Though April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. So if it's raining, have no regrets, because it isn't raining rain, it's raining violets. So I know it's raining violets because it's raining flowers actually.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Okay. And where you see clouds upon the hills, you soon will see crowds of daffodils. So keep on looking for a bluebird and listening for his song whenever April showers come along. By B.J. Silva.
Oh, cool. That's good. Good find.
How about that?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's we'll see if we get any showers this April.
That's right.
We shall see. And then next week, our podcast comes out on Tax Day.
Tax Day.
So we're going to talk about what is taxing.
What taxes you.
So we'll come up with something good.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And let us know what your favorite flowers are. If you have any actual showers this April, because I don't know if we will. But we've got our Instagram, our website, Facebook page, Patreon, all those places that you can find us.
That's right. So we look forward to next week when you take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.